it's time to talk to our guy Allen Robinson. Longtime receiver in the NFL, played for multiple teams, the Jaguars, the Bears, the Lions, the Rams, and the Steelers. And Allen Robinson joins us now. Allen, Pat Boyle, you played for Mike Tomlin 2 years ago. Big news of the day yesterday, Coach T stepping down in Pittsburgh after 19 years in charge. Do you get a chance to reach out to him? And what are your thoughts on where Coach Tomlin should go next?
I haven't, I haven't reached out to him, and I am definitely surprised by the news. I mean, he's one of those coaches who loves the game of football, and you can tell on a day-to-day basis. And I see a lot of people saying TV, but I don't know. I don't really see Coach T as a TV kind of guy, man. He really loves the X's and O's. If you go back and watch some of his post-game pressers and pressers during the week, they're very short-winded football answers. So I'm very curious to see what is next for him. But, I'd like to see him with a younger team, a team that's going to put some money behind some of the things that he wants to do. Obviously, they have a high-paid defense over there in Pittsburgh, but quarterback has been somewhat of the issue over the past however many years you want to consider that from the end of Ben Roethlisberger's tenure.
Alan, Brad Evans here. Let's go to a city where you always put mustard, not ketchup, on a hot dog. And that is a place you know and love, of course, Chicago, Illinois. The conditions to be the capper on Sunday for the divisional round are going to be all-time brutal, potentially, with air temps around 17, 18 degrees around kickoff, wind chills below zero for that one, Alan. So knowing the brutal conditions here at play, how much a factor do you think the chill is going to play in to the mindset of the Los Angeles Rams and maybe their physical play overall? And speaking from experience, how hard is it for a wide receiver to play in frigid conditions based on the games that you played in, probably in the Windy City?
Yeah, and I've also been a person who's played in a game very similar to this. It wasn't this time of year, but it was a night game at Soldier Field against the Los Angeles Rams, Vic Fangio versus Sean McVay. And we saw the cold affect them a lot, I would say. I mean, they have been rolling that year. And on offense, they struggled tremendously. I believe they scored 6 points that game. The defense got after them. But, I mean, as an offensive player and as a pass catcher, it is something that you have to concentrate and focus a little bit more on. You have to try to keep ways to keep your hands and fingers warm. And that ball is going to be a little bit harder than normal. It's going to be a little bit more slick and harder to grasp than normal. So it's one of those games where you have to really lock in, bite down on your mouthpiece, and catch the ball, because when it's coming out of those quarterbacks' hands, it's going to be as hard as a rock.
But bite down on your mouthpiece. I love that piece of advice. I think some of the fans who dare attend that game in the stands might be a sound recommendation as well. Alan, staying in the NFC, what's your scouting report on the battle of familiar foes, San Francisco in Seattle? In the regular season, the Niners took the game played in the Starbucks City 17-13, but dropped the rematch in Santa Clara 13-3 in week 18. Are you expecting a similar defensive battle?
Similar, but I think the Seahawks will be a little bit more productive on offense. I see the Seahawks running away with this one. Obviously, they're both very familiar with each other. I just think that the Seattle Seahawks defense has a little bit too much, especially now with George Kittle being out. Obviously, the 49ers have been able to play a skill position by committee, meaning get the ball to guys who are just stepping up with the next man up mentality as guys have been in and out of the lineup. But now, especially with having George Kittle out, I just don't know if they have enough versus this very, very good Seattle defense.
Good answer. We're talking with Allen Robinson here, 11-year NFL receiver, played for the Jags, Bears, Lions, Rams, Steelers here, and where he's joining us on BetMGM tonight, Westwood One Sports. Brad Evans, Pat Boyle. Allen, you know how tough it is, how tough it can be for an offense when things aren't going great. I mean, it's easy to blame the QB, easy to blame the head coach, easy to blame the play caller. Oftentimes, a struggling O-line gets ignored. Receivers who can't get open gets ignored. What's your take on what happened to the Eagles' offense this year, and do you think they were right to move on from first-year play caller and offense coordinator Kevin Patullo?
You could tell that something wasn't right with their offense all season. I think it was a necessary move for them based on the circumstance of having to go the entire season with this kind of looming, with the likes of A.J. Brown and how he was feeling about the offense, Jalen Hurts, with those things being in question, it's very hard to run away from that from a whole nother year if it doesn't start out right. But I will say this, it's not easy learning the offense in the NFL. So them having to go coordinator after coordinator, I believe this will be their 5th straight different coordinator after one season. Sometimes that is very hard to build upon. I would have liked for them to maybe keep the offensive coordinator, allow Nick Sirianni to take over a little bit more because that's his expertise, and maybe see him get in the mix of calling plays and things like that because he's done it before. He's done it at a very high level, and what brought him to Philadelphia is his tremendous offensive mind, and I would love to see for them to get back at it and to see a little bit more of his DNA on the offense this upcoming season.
Oh, love that take. Alan, last one from me. Have you revised your Super Bowl matchup and Lombardi winner at all with the last 8 teams remaining? Tell us who the Super Bowl matchup's going to be based on who is currently still alive and who wins the whole shebang, my man.
Coming out of the NFC, I think it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks. I think when I just overall look at them, they have playmakers on defense, running back position, receiver position, and they've been able to play, as we've saw throughout the course of the season, complementary football. Even when Sam Darnold hasn't played well, you see the defense come up big. You see special teams come up big. So they have everything that they need to play well and to get to the Super Bowl. It's just one factor there, and that's Sam Darnold. I think if he can play well enough, they'll be able to get it done. Now, some teams have more holes than just one, like the Seattle Seahawks, which is why I'm picking them. And in the AFC, I think this may be Josh Allen's year. You don't have Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. You don't have Lamar Jackson. You don't have Joe Burrow. I think right now this is going to be a very big game for them. Obviously, it's a divisional round against the Denver Broncos, but I like the winner of that to be in the Super Bowl.
Alan, great answer, Alan. We got about 1 more minute to go here. So I'll ask you a question that we were just kind of chopping it up about right before we came back from commercial break. You got a minute. You're starting a franchise tomorrow. Who are you picking for your quarterback? Jayden Daniels or Caleb Williams?
I got to go with Caleb Williams. I'm from the era of what have you done for me lately? And seeing Caleb Williams and seeing him in these game-winning drives that he's put out a few times in the last recent weeks, especially against the Packers when they've needed it most. We've saw that very recently. Jayden Daniels, not so much. Granted, the NFL is like dog years in the NFL. Missing as much time as he has may be somewhat of an impact on him. But I do know this. Caleb Williams is playing in the divisional round this week and has a chance to take his team to the NFC Championship, and I think that's significant.
Good answer. I maybe disagree with it, but it's a good answer. I can't hate it. Alan Robinson, we thanks so much for your time, brother. Enjoy the games this weekend. We'll catch up with you soon.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Alan.
There you go. 11-year receiver in the NFL, Alan Robinson.